Chapter 33, this is about bida, because people claim that any bida is bad. Bida is an innovation, something new in Islam, and people claim that there is no such thing as a good bida. Well, the fact is, innovations are of two types, good and bad. Innovation is something new in Islam, or something which you can't find exactly the detail which you are implementing. And very simply, if it benefits you and benefits Islam and benefits the Muslims, then it is a good innovation, as long as it doesn't contradict Quran and Sunnah. And anything that contradicts Quran and Sunnah is a bad innovation, and we should avoid. Everything new is not automatically a bad innovation. And the word bid'ah is actually mentioned in the Holy Quran in chapter 57, verse number 27, where the people innovated for themselves in matters or in areas where they weren't prescribed, but they sought it only to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah is talking about people of the past who used to add things, but not for a bad reason, for a good reason. And Allah's not condemning it, subhanahu wa ta'ala, as long as it doesn't go against the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the ayah, or rather the hadith they quote, and this is probably one of the only hadith I actually know by heart, كُلُّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ وَكُلُّ ضَلَالَةٍ فِي النَّارِ. Every innovation is misguidance, and every misguidance is in the fire. And they keep quoting that. This is Nisa'i, and they say, see, there we go, we understand the whole of Islam. This is not the only hadith on this subject. And what the Prophet is saying here, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is that every bad innovation is misguidance, and every misguidance is in the fire. Okay? Because the fact he's mentioned misguidance, it obviously means bad innovation. Not every innovation, because there are many innovations without which we can't practice Islam. As an example, the harakat of the Quran, the fatha, kasra, dhamma, zabar, zir, pesh of the Quran. Without that, we'll be reading Quran wrongly. That is an innovation. So if we're going to follow this hadith, stop reading Quran with the fatha, kasra, dhamma, you see. And that's just one example. There are many, many examples. And also the fact is, in Sahih Muslim, the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, man sanna fil Islam sunnatan hasana falahu ajruha wa ajru man amila biha ba'da. So Sahih Muslim, whoever introduces a good sunnah in Islam will receive the reward for it and the reward for all those who act upon it. Whoever introduces, not reintroduces a sunnah, introduces a good sunnah, a good tradition. If it was just a sunnah, he wouldn't say good sunnah, he wouldn't say sunnatan hasana, he would just say sunnah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because every one of his practices are good. Otherwise you're saying, well, hang on, some of his practices are good and some of them are bad, and he's just saying introduce the good ones. No, that's not true, that's not correct. Man sanna fil Islam sunnatan hasana, whoever introduces a good sunnah, they will get the reward for it and the reward for all those who act upon it. This is Sahih Muslim. So it's completely permissible to introduce good practices which you maybe can't find exactly like you've introduced in Quran or Sunnah, but you find the principle, and that's why I said that this is must be in accordance with Quran and Sunnah. Like salatul-Taraaweeh, for example, people, you were praying in little groups, and Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anh, he said, look, this is not good, and he made everybody read behind one imam, and he said, ni'mal bid'atu hadhihi, this is a good bid'ah, ni'mal bid'atu hadhihi, this is a good bid'ah. And when I mention this hadith, those who don't know it, they say, yeah, it's from one of your strange books. I say, yeah, it's a very strange book. It's actually Sahih al-Bukhari, you may have heard of it. Or they might say, yes, but bid'ah has a different meaning in Arabic. Really? You're changing the Arabic language now. When you're translating kullu bid'atin dalala, it has one meaning, but when Hazrat Umar says ni'mal bid'atu hadi, has a different meaning. Get your head out of cloud cuckoo land and just wake up and smell the morning coffee. This is complete nonsense, complete misguidance, complete confusion. I'm saying white, you're saying no, it's black. I'm saying black, no, you're saying it's white. This is Sahih al-Bukhari, and this is say Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala and he's using the word bid'ah, alright, and he's saying this is a good bid'ah. So he's established the fact that there are good bid'ahs to do, and making people, because people were saying to him, the Prophet never did this, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He goes, but this is the right thing to do. He didn't want to make Taraaweeh fard on you. If he said this is how you do it, you must do it this way, then this becomes fard. But he said, I don't want it. We're not making it fard. But you praying in little groups is wrong. We should pray in one jama'ah, and that practice is still carried out today. So Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, he gets all the reward for this. The fact we're praying, and even in the Haramain, in Makkatul Mukarramah, Madinatul Munawwarah, and you'll find as Ramadan begins, inshallah, you find people are praying, and they're praying in one jama'ah, and it's a right thing to do. In fact, if you find two jama'ahs, the committee will throw you out. They say, no, we're not allowing this, you see. And you can argue this is the way the companions used to do, and otherwise it's a bid'ah, they'll throw you out. you're the ones who are bid'ah. And also you find where when they collected the Quran together, some of the companions were very reluctant, radiallahu ta'ala, especially Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala, because he said, look, the Prophet never did this. It's a very big thing. The Prophet never did this, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But gradually he was convinced it's the right thing to do. And he said, yes, my heart is satisfied. This is the right thing to do. Now imagine if he hadn't done that. We wouldn't have the Quran now. So that's a very important bid'ah, actually. And the reason we justify ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ, that is the book. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said no, he never collected it in a book, but because people learnt it by heart, and people are still learning it by heart. But for those who are non-Arabs, and there was happening that many Hufaz were being martyred, and also many people were becoming Muslims who were not really speaking the correct language of Quran. So this had become very important. And the last thing you want to do is find other people who suddenly start writing Quran from memory, making mistakes, and issuing it as an official copy. Can you imagine that? So this was completely the right thing to do. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspired Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala, Hazrat Umar, and like this, to do this. And this and again, people say yes, but this is a very strange book that this hadith is. Yeah, very, very strange book indeed. Again, Sahih al-Bukhari. Right. So that's proven beyond any doubt. And if someone comes along and shouts, this is bid'ah, I say, look, give me some proof, please. I don't need your accusations. I want proof that this is against Islam. All right. And I'm sorry, you're not a scholar, you're a nobody. So give me a proof, give me a Quranic verse or a hadith that says what I'm doing is against Islam. What I'm doing is against the Prophet's teaching, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Show me a verse or hadith that says don't do this. Because that's what you need. Otherwise you're saying Allah's forgotten to make something haram. That's what you're saying. But Allah's forgotten, but you haven't. Yeah, you know better than him. Yeah. So this is exactly what they're saying. So we say, look, go back to sleep somewhere else in the corner, and practice your own Islam, because I don't recognize it. All right. I might have to edit that out, but anyway, chapter 34.